Hello, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create a rough cut in Adobe Premiere. So this is intended for those who are first time editing basic things in Adobe Premiere. Now a rough cut is when you have recorded your footage and you're just simply placing your footage in the timeline, and then later on you go and work on your final when you actually start doing the proper editing process and cropping and marking in, marking out things. So here we go. So I've got my video footage, which is very basically done. I did this without tripod or stabilization. Now, Google Drive, I now go over to the top here and I click on the down arrow and I go and I might download my footage. So while this is happening, it's zipping up the files. Okay, and it's going to take some time for for Google Drive to zip it, and then it's going to download the footage. During this time, I want you to open up Adobe Premiere Pro. So it's opening up now, the file is zipped, and it's now downloading the footage. And Adobe Premiere Pro is still loading. Okay, so this one here has downloaded. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go and show this in Finder. So on the PC, if you're on a PC, you obviously have the same thing happen. You can right click and you see your footage download. So we have here, I'm just going to go back to Finder. Here we have our zip file. So you can't double click on the zip file on a PC, for example, and expect for the video footage to work. What you need to do is you need to, on the PC, you need to right click it, and it's going to say in the PC, extract, and that's what you need to do. On the Mac, if you're using a Mac, you simply double click on the zip file, and it's going to decompress the footage for you. So that's my footage there. It's right there here. I'm going, best case scenario here is you need to now move this over to your documents folder. I'm just going to keep this here just for basic reasons. Okay, so I have my Explorer window and my Finder window just here, ready to go. I go into Adobe Premiere Pro, and this is my first time opening it. So if you are very much first time opening it, it's going to come up with this tutorial thing coming up. Close the tutorial. What you need to do after that is you go to New Project. And then you name your project. So I'm going to call mine here Rough Cut. And I'll click on Create. Okay, so exploring this area here. This window right here that I have selected is where you place your footage. So your raw footage goes into here. In industry, some of us call it the media bin. Some other people call this here media browser, your media library, or what have you. It depends what program you're using or what lingo you're using here. This box here is where you are going to be marking in and marking out your footage. Don't be too concerned about this yet. On this window here is your entire movie that you have edited. On this side here is your timeline. So let's go ahead and put stuff into our media bin. We go over to our File Explorer or our Finder, and we are going to select all of our videos here. And I'm simply going to drag them across into here. So it's a very good idea that you save your project now. So I'm going to go over to Premiere Pro, go to File, Save As. And at the moment, just for ease, I've got my files here in the Downloads folder, and I'm going to click on my sample files for tutorials. My videos are there, and I'm going to save my project in there. So the video footage is saved in exactly the same folder as your editing file. So now to rough cut it, you can see here that I've got the file numbers. So we start off with our lowest number, which is this one here, and we simply drag and drop this file into our timeline. We do the same thing here. So we go over to, we have here 8397, we have here 8398, and we move it across into here as well. We can move this bar across a little bit, and this allows us to navigate the timeline, move across, and we go over to now the video footage, which is marked as being 8400, and I can drag and drop this in. I like to stagger this footage, and you'll see the reasons for that when you start doing your final editing. I'm going to drag another one in here again, and that is about it. Okay, so let's now press the spacebar, and this is going to show the entire footage right from start to finish. Okay, so you can see here, I'm in the future, I'm going to be marking out yellow. Okay, and that is done. So I'll press the spacebar again, and that is my rough cut. I now go over to File, and I save it. I then go to File again, and I go to Export. And I export media. Now, some of you are on screens which are quite small, and if you can't see anything, you just drag this across here and you can actually see the export button. So what we're doing here is we're making sure that the range here is the entire sequence. Yeah, and we're going to be saving this out as an MP4 file. Okay, and we check here the location, one less than run video, that's the wrong location. And we go and put it into my downloads folder in this case. And we go down here to, I've got a lot of things in my thing here. And I'm just going to download it here. I'm going to make a new file called here, rough cut. Click on create, make a new folder. And then I'm going to go to save. So let's now export it. Okay, so that is done. I now go over to my Finder or my File Explorer and now see my raw cut, and I can double click on this and I can now view the footage all set and done or edited as a rough cut. I don't know why I wrote down raw cut. So there we go. So that there is a rough cut. That's all for now. Thank you.